and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, E-Fro. What's poppin', baby? How you feeling, baby?
New follower of the podcast.
Yeah, I just followed this morning. Yeah, really happy to. I'm curious what this podcast is about. It's my first time tuning in, so.
Eat the mic. That's what he's saying. Eat the mic.
Eat the dogs.
There we go.
Eat the cats.
Eat the mic, eat the dog.
Come on, you've been here long enough. You're no amateur to how this show rolls. Mm-hmm. We got to start this off. I have to get this out of my system because it's been fucking with me all day. So,
Oh no!
You gotta take a poop?
no. 7 a.m. I wake
It's
up.
already sitting in the toilet.
Right. Don't gaslight me. Just because fucking Melissa's not here doesn't mean that you get to come and fill in, okay? Maybe the person whose nickname is Poo Dog had a little something to do with the streaks that were in the commode.
I don't know. That seems like hogwash.
By the way, is commode a Pittsburgh term? Does anybody else say commode?
No.
Do you guys know what a commode is?
Yes, toilet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
it's used.
Okay, yeah, all right.
It seems like that would be a Pittsburgh
That does
word
seem like
for
a Pittsburgh
sure, right? Yeah.
Do you guys know what a Pittsburgh bathroom is? No, never mind. Let's not get started. All right.
Wait, what?
It's called a Pittsburgh toilet. You don't know what this is?
The street.
I don't think so.
No. A Pittsburgh toilet is in the ironworking days.
Iron.
They would just put a rogue toilet in the basement with a shower head. And it was for the steel workers and whatnot, the coal miners and whatnot, to come in through the basement door, strip down, get themselves to a point where they could actually go upstairs into the real house.
Interesting.
The Simons have one. My granddad had one.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. You just like walk right into the basement. All right. Anyway, so I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning. I have an appointment to go get what's called an Ezra scan. And the idea behind this is it's a full body scan looking for, any abnormalities, just a wellness check of sorts.
Are you okay?
So it's two scans. One is a CAT scan of your lungs, which if you've never had one, super easy. Just 2 minutes tops. They put you in, come out. It's barely enclosed. Then the next one is a 60-minute long MRI. The first 45 minutes of which you're going in head first. Now, I've had MRIs before. I had it for my knee and I had it for my appendix, and it was no big deal. You go in feet first, your head's outside the enclosure basically, or it's like right at the entryway. And, it's not that big of a deal. Today, they lay me down. They lock me in. So you got your hands across your chest. They put these like...
You're on your back.
You're on your back. They put these pads by your arms, by your legs and everything to keep you still. And then... You're like laying in this headrest, right? And the last thing they do is they put you in this enclosure that I can only describe as the cage that was around Hannibal Lecter's face. And it's like...
You got a muzzle.
I mean, for all intent and purposes, right? So then they have this like thing that looks like a stethoscope in your ears where they're pumping in music. And she's like, okay, it's going to be like 60 minutes, no big deal. We're going to put you in. And here's
It's going to be how many minutes?
60 minutes.
You just sit there in silence?
You don't sit, you lay.
You lay in silence.
Yeah.
Just meditate for 60 minutes.
You would think so.
You get music?
I know.
You get
the machine
music.
makes a lot of noise, I understand.
The machine, okay, we'll get to that.
Did you ask for Creed?
I asked for 90s, which
No Leroy Towns?
if they had Leroy on I might still be there actually.
Where blind men see.
What? Be there holding the nurse's hand?
No, so they give you this thing that looks like, the pump for a blood pressure machine. They go, okay, squeeze this if you have any issues. This is a panic button. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to need that. So I just like lay it on my chest. Don't think twice about it. They zoom me in there, and as I'm going in,
Oh no, you got to take a shit.
No. Come on. I'm realizing like, as the white is encompassing me, I'm realizing it's like the equivalent of like deep sea diving where you no longer know what is up or down. I've been in like sensory deprivation chambers, no problem whatsoever. Honestly, they don't even work for me because I often fall asleep. So like float tanks and shit like that does nothing for me. Not claustrophobic as far as I understand. I get backed into this machine, and I mean the first song hadn't even started yet, and the noise from the MRI machine, it sounds like you're in the midst of a saw challenge. I mean, I don't know how to describe the torturous sounds that I was hearing, but all of a sudden I'm just like pumping this thing. I'm like, get me out. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. There was no way I could stay still for another second.
Nobody's ever, anybody that's ever told me they went for one has said they've gone through it the first time. Everybody has hit that button that I've known.
Really? I did it, and I don't remember it being that loud.
Did you go in head first?
Yeah. It's when I had my my appendectomy.
Yeah, me too, but I went in feet first.
Oh. Maybe I did go in
feet first is so easy.
I don't remember something being very loud.
Oh, I remember it being loud.
I've had one before.
The noises didn't surprise me.
I had one before, but it was like, I was so young, so I don't remember if I was feet first or head first. But I remember them, like, prepping you and saying, oh, like you might get claustrophobic. I was fine. So
I really didn't think I was a claustrophobic person.
You just felt like you couldn't escape, and
every ounce of suppressed anxiety and trauma or whatever that I've been holding in just rushed to the surface. I was like, I have to get out of here now.
So they
can't do this.
So they pulled you out, and then you didn't.
Yeah. So she pulls me out. She goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "No, not in the slightest." She's like, "What's the matter? Can you describe it to me?" I was like, I am insanely disoriented. Like, I feel dizzy. I feel wobbly.
It's like the Jameis Winston interview. He's like, there was pain. There was pain everywhere. There's pain everywhere. There's pain everywhere.
I was just like, I don't really, like, I don't know if this is not common or it is common. I don't know, but like, I can't lay back in that thing. She goes, yeah, I need you there for like 45 minutes and then we'll turn you around. You can go in feet first. I go, I'm going to have to cancel. Wow. I just don't see how this will work. And I text my doctor. He's like, yeah, it's really common. He's like, I can give you a Xanax next time, or there's an open MRI, I guess, that's like not as enclosed.
And you just do that in the first place.
Yeah, I was like, well, that would have been nice to know that was an option. I'd happily take the open one. I've never taken a Xanax, and quite frankly, from what I was feeling, I don't know if there's a drug that could sedate me.
Wow.
I thought I was just going to sleep.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's an hour, and I'm just like, oh, I'll just pass out.
What gives you that feeling though? It's just like you're just like in an enclosed, like,
I think it's the like, because you're fixed on your back and can only stare up at the white ceiling. I mean, I did, but it didn't help. I think it's like a sense of like vertigo almost. You know what I mean? Like, I've never deep sea dived, but like I also have a tremendous fear of deep water. And I think it's that kind of sense of not knowing what's up or down.
Right.
You're just, in the abyss.
So you're never going in the ocean or anything?
No, I mean, I've been in the ocean, but like not my favorite activity by any stretch.
You don't jump off the boat when you're fishing? Yeah,
but that's honestly, that's a terrifying experience too. We went to Tahoe, and the very first time I had no idea about the lake, and we were around Emerald Bay. And it's just a really nice area. There's a little island there with a castle on the hill, Ed Sheeran style, and we were on the boat, and I just jumped off, not thinking much of it, And
Castle on the hill.
I'm not the strongest swimmer, and there's a bit of a current, and I was like, man, I'm really surprised there's a current here in a fucking lake. So then we get back to dock, and there's a map of the lake where we turn the boat in, and I'm looking. It's a fucking 1,000 feet deep there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing swimming in 1,000 feet of water? I can't last that.
I think it's like one of the largest lake or like deepest lakes
there
in the world.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Jesse's here.
Hey,
Welcome,
Jesse.
sir.
What's poppin', Jesse?
Hello. Your hair looks great.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Just coming fresh from a cut. We got you all lined up. We're talking about my experience. I went to get an MRI today, and I couldn't do it.
You could. Why? I heard that you're on a boat with Ed Sheeran. That's what I came to.
Close.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that is very close. Not exactly what was happening, but I just compared it to being in deep water. Like, I went into the machine and I just freaked the fuck out.
I could see that. I'm pretty claustrophobic, so I feel like
I had no idea I was claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Do you feel bad on planes?
Planes are okay. Elevators really suck.
Really?
Yeah, I hate elevators.
Okay, I have no issues with these things.
Really?
But like my level of panic today was a 9 of 10.
Really?
I think like life or death situation, I could have stayed. But like that's it. That's I mean like, and when I say life or death, I mean they don't even give me the panic button.
Yeah, but like who's gonna carry the boats and the logs if you can't even take an MRI?
That's true. That's true. I don't know that this is a toughness thing though.
I believe they make stand-up MRIs now.
My doctor said they have an open case one.
Or that maybe that's it.
Yeah, stand-up would be great. If it was standing, I wouldn't be disoriented because I'm vertical.
Right.
It's the being horizontal and like being completely enclosed. I don't know, man.
That's terrifying to me.
Felt like a cocoon.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
I've been looking into these. What do they call these chambers? I just watched the.
The ones you sleep in.
Hyperbaric
chambers.
Hyperbolic chambers.
They're
We know all
pressurized.
about those here. Yeah.
They're pressurized and the oxygen levels are higher in them.
Yeah.
So I was watching the Embedded for the UFC this weekend, and Ilya Taporia just somehow built one in his house. I had no idea that guy was already so rich, but he built one in his house, and he's like 4 scientists come in after his workout, and he used it for recovery, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I know LeBron and Kobe and a bunch of like high-level athletes all have them as well.
Yeah, but they make like $40 million a year, whereas this guy makes like $25,000 a fight.
Yeah, he just won the championship.
Yeah. He hasn't even defended the belt yet, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you get a bunch of outside sponsorships, right?
Yeah, maybe. I can't hear you guys except...
Turn
are
the press
they
the
turned
button.
on? Make sure they're actually on.
You have to press and hold.
Oh, you got to turn it on.
Yeah.
Press and hold.
First time, guys.
Oh,
First time.
technology.
How about now? Got us?
I hear every one of you.
Oh, that's
It's great because for the first 5
You
minutes,
can actually hear our thoughts now.
he looked like a confused dog. Oh, that reminds me. Did you know that like I saw a clip of Live Brie floating around? Did you know that there's like a large population of people who don't hear a voice in their head?
Yeah. Right. I saw that thing. Yeah, they don't have like an inner voice.
And the inner monologue
How
just
do they
does not
think?
exist.
Yeah. Does anybody here not have an inner voice?
I don't even know.
It
What
would
that
make a lot of
means.
sense if Conrad didn't.
Like when you're thinking about something, do you like,
Hear it?
hear it? Not hear it, but like.
Like, do you go over it in your head?
Yeah, you internally hear it.
Yeah. I do that when I'm really pissed off.
So that's why whenever the camera shots aren't catching up, it's because Guapo's motherfucking us in his head.
That's what it is.
You don't hear your thoughts, E-Fro?
I can't even imagine not hearing your thoughts.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, how could you ever think through something without having a dialogue with yourself?
Right.
Apparently, they see thoughts instead. So
That makes
See
sense because
thoughts?
I'm very unartistic and can't really visualize anything like that.
yeah,
And I
it's
am
a
very analytical.
it's a weird thing
But it's
because
like a high percentage. Like it's a very good chance that someone in this room
you would think,
thinks right. Yeah.
or it's just a made up
it could be a made up
factoid that is just absolutely not true.
Or
Right.
we think along the same lines.
Or nobody
we're
wants
kinda,
to admit it.
Similar.
Right.
I mean, everyone in this room is poker players. The
Right.
odds of having a very
Yeah.
analytical brain
That's
are
true.
certainly
Right.
Like if we had 3 artists in this room and 6 poker players, it might be a very different
That is
outcome.
true.
I have no idea. I'm speculating, but yeah.
It's very weird because if I had to pick 2 learning styles that I think are most applicable to me, it's audio and visual. Like I don't do well with read write at all. It's probably the lowest on the chain, and then kinesthetic learning is like somewhere in the middle. Like sometimes I pick things up, sometimes I don't. Depends if it's muscle memory or not. But like I hear a very clear dialogue in my head.
Yeah.
And I visualize things really well. Like if you describe something to me, say close your eyes, it'll be there. Like I see it. And I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't visually see their thoughts. That all makes sense to me. There being a disconnect between visualization and not, total sense.
Like if I said to you, like, think of an elephant, you
Yeah.
could close your eyes.
I don't
and
even need to
see-
close my eyes. I can see a gray elephant.
You can see the elephant.
Can you?
Gray
Yeah,
elephant,
yeah.
pink ears, looks like Dumbo. Yeah,
There's
I
an
can,
elephant in the desert.
Right. Yeah.
And
Palm
you
trees.
are-
Can you
I can
guys
see-
stop?
I can-
I don't want this visualization in my head.
I can literally see it all like without closing my eyes, but I can't
What's the
fathom.
point of this?
I just can't fathom like going through your day-to-day life. Like, how do you figure out 2 + 2
Wait a
if you
minute.
can't think about it?
Wait a minute. Doesn't Henry have something similar to this?
I don't know.
Cobain?
I don't know
I
what
think
regard. Like he,
It's something along the lines with like, not, or maybe it's like not dreaming, or like
that
not.
would be strange.
I mean,
or
would
like-
it? Maybe he just sleeps deeply.
Man, I don't remember.
I don't remember
God.
very many in my dreams.
God,
That
it's
would
so-
be so cool.
Not remember?
To know if I can just sleep deeply for like 6 hours.
I wish Henry's outer voice was my inner voice.
Same. Right?
Yes.
Bro,
behave.
legitimately, if I could pick someone to narrate my life, it would be Henry. For sure. Like, I mean, you know, barring Morgan Freeman's not around.
Henry's one of my favorite people to do commentary with because I find myself mirroring people at least a little bit when I'm in the booth with them. And so when it's with Henry, I end up having kind of these more like British mannerisms of speaking.
Right.
And I really appreciate the way the Brits talk. I also just love their slang and stuff
there's a huge
Take a day off, mate.
yeah, but there's a huge discrepancy, right, between like the Mormons and the Henrys.
Yeah.
Like their vernacular is incredibly different.
Well, I've been waiting many shows to say this, but Mormon's an American now.
That's fair. That is fair.
I really hope that gets back to him because he'll love hearing that.
Good for him.
But like Henry's very posh in the way he speaks, and I agree. Like there's something about the intonation he uses, the slight
Mate.
right, like the slight adjustments to the slang. Like they say mate, we say bro. You know, just everything is more eloquent coming out of his mouth. And yeah, he fills that role of like the play-by-play color guy so well.
You've absolutely done it in.
Yeah, like
Done it in is such a good.
that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, have a bow, Landon Tice.
Have a bow.
I think mate is the best.
Mate's very good.
Mate is
Mate
the
can go
best.
either way too.
Yeah.
It's such a great word.
I love it.
If you're at a bar and somebody says mate to you, you know you're about to fight. You know? I love that word.
That's because someone got called a wanker.
Yeah.
Somebody said Xanax
brat.
tastes like chicken broth. I think they're trying to get me.
I think they're trying to get you hooked.
Get me hooked.
I think you lying to me.
All right, let's get to the real reason why E-Fro's here. This man had a lot of shit to talk about our parlays.
Rightfully so.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Justified.
Mine
Your
are
parlays
just
have
hits.
enough shit to talk about. Me saying
To be fair, it was mostly just Brent's.
Those were teasers, to be fair. And those made no sense.
Well, they were teasers.
Tantalizing, tasteful teasers.
Yes. And he's got another one for you this week.
Trick or treat teaser.
Let's take a gander at our weekend warrior.
We are back for another Weekend Warrior recap. And we're going to go around and see what happened last week. You know, we're going to start off with Berk. What's poppin', Berk?
I didn't fare well. I don't remember what my teaser was. I think I was close. Or not my teaser, my parlay. I think I was close.
No,
but I
you
don't
were
remember.
not.
You look at it, as I
No,
look
you
at the
were not.
standings.
I think we scored way too many points, if I remember.
As I look at the standings, you're second to last at the moment.
Yeah, but I got 60% of my roll, baby. We're doing great.
Okay, all right.
The Steelers scored too many points.
Yeah, they scored way too many points.
All right,
How
Lamana,
did
what'd
that
you do
happen?
That was
last
the same.
week?
That was the same with me. I took the Steelers. I think plus 1.5 and over higher than 39, whatever it was.
No one knows the bit.
Yeah, 30 something, whatever it was.
It's better if they don't know.
I did not expect, the Steelers to score 32 points.
Wow.
I fully expected
37.
the Jets to, whatever it was. I did not expect the Jets to score 15 was about right, but I just figured we'd win, about with 16,
We did
17,
not
or 18.
adequately dance on the
Yeah.
grave of the Jets because Conrad took Monday off.
I know,
You
right?
guys
Yeah,
make
we
me
can do that right
fucking
now.
Sick.
No, it's okay. We're
We'll
pressed
just
for
go-
time.
We'll
We'll just go
do
longer
it next week with his other favorite team.
Sure.
the
No, you
Giants.
That is nice that we get to pummel both New York teams back to
Listen,
back weeks.
guys, listen. If the other New York team doesn't lose this week, I will have to. I don't know. I don't want to say anything over the air, but they might get some mail from me or something. Because I have the Pittsburgh Steelers in my survivor.
Okay,
Let's go. Oh, you want the shirt? Honor
I
Yinzer?
might have to be.
Let's go.
Did anyone win last week? That's
Yes.
really all we need to
Whoa,
cover.
don't worry. We're going around, buddy. Landon, what's poppin'? What'd
Yes,
you do
they
last
did.
week?
I
Okay.
bet against my home,
Oh, okay.
and I
That's
have
easy.
won.
You
Yes.
finally came around.
Colts
Smart man.
-3.
That game was tight.
They won by 6.
You bet against
but it
the
was
Sim?
tight.
I bet against the Miami Dolphin Swims. The Swims. Tua's back this week. I
Yeah.
faded that game. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But
What you got going, Guapo? What happened last week?
I took Mr. Hernandez, and he won.
Oh,
against
all right.
Pierre.
All
Yeah.
right. What was it, like a minus 145? I remember being proud of you in the
Yeah, it
chat.
was like minus 140.
I was like,
that.
you were taking risks out here and shit.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
You're gonna like this week's peak. though.
Am I?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that.
Wait a minute.
What are you waiting a minute about?
How did you do?
What do you mean? How do I did? I had UNLV minus 6.5.
You scared
and
me.
I
Scared
also, I'm sorry, buddy. And I also had Signetti in Indiana.
Oh yeah,
minus
That's
6.5.
right.
Sigs
Pride
is-
of Leechburg.
Sigs is on the prowl.
There. I have this
You
feeling.
know, game day's there this week.
Yeah, because they're absolutely crushing it, and also McCaffrey knows where he's from.
McAfee. Jesus
McAfee,
Christ.
McCaffrey,
Pat
same thing.
McCaffrey.
The same thing. He's
Oh, so
whatever.
you had a parlay.
I had two teams, 500 to win, 1791.
Jesus Christ.
No, it was to win 1291.
Whatever.
Sure, but I put it in as
Man, I'm really gonna need to pull
Wow,
this
you
one.
bet-
together.
Let's make sure the
I
numbers
won.
are right.
I won 1291.
Okay.
Yeah, so he bet
Just making
500 to
sure.
win 17 because he gets to keep his 500.
Were you all in on the 500?
No.
Okay, so you won the $100 bonus this week.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Platt finally lost.
Platt did lose. Platt is now. I think he's sitting at like 2,000. He took Charlotte, which actually got. I think it was Charlotte.
Yeah, minus 6.
No, then it was somebody else because Charlotte was like he had like plus 17.5.
Oh yeah, that's right. He
Or
had the other
16.5.
side. Yeah, yeah.
And Navy beat the shit out of him. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was.
Love to see it.
What did you guys start with for
1,000.
$1,000.
Okay.
Hanks,
I was doing great till I started finding out about these same game parlays, and then 4 weeks in a row just punted.
God, I can't, Jesse. I can't tell you. And E-Fro, I
Get it
gotta
all
tell-
back in 1 week,
I
Berkey.
gotta
That's
tell you
right.
guys something. I had a conversation one day with Berkey, and he scolded me about my use of my role in the Weekend Warrior. And you know what? I told him he's an idiot. First off,
You were all in on week
off,
2.
But second off, listen, everybody should have all in on the Chargers.
That was a lot.
The Weekend Warrior, Survivor, anything, any dollars you had, the Chargers were a lock that week.
God damn it.
Anyway.
He didn't just win that week. I lost money, real money that week.
Right.
He was. Oh yeah, you're an idiot.
Landon did spite bet
I
against
spite
Conrad.
bet against Conrad.
He's-
It didn't work.
He literally sent the $700 ticket that he fucking bet on the Panthers like a goddamn idiot.
I was like, some things are worth more than money, man.
So stupid. But,
No,
I respected that. I respected that.
Right.
Like a little less than Lamada just talking shit, never bet the
I
other
wanted
side.
to be rich and you be broke, and it didn't work out.
I know I should just bet
You gotta
the
start
opposite
betting.
of what
Just
you
bet
said.
$10. This is where you can talk shit. It's
true.
Anyway, back to what I was saying.
I bet the exact amount of money you had.
Guys,
I bet the-
what was I saying?
Brent.
Hanks's
Oh,
tasteful
Hank.
teaser banged it off.
No,
I
did
was
he
mostly
win?
surprised
Yeah.
that Jesse
All right.
couldn't figure out what your bankroll started at when Lamanna was betting 50 and Conrad's betting 500. Weird that they started with $1,000.
Really quick factoid here.
Obviously, Conrad ran it up to $20,000, and he's being very reasonable with his bankroll.
We're close to that. We're
By
close to
betting
that.
1,000 each week.
No, we're betting 500
The
right
combined
now.
bankroll of the entire room obviously started at 8,000. We're almost at 10 grand, so it's not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah,
Hey,
Conrad and Jeff Platt.
considered.
Jeff.
Wait,
You can't nod your head like, all right, like you're getting cooked.
Collectively, we're
Wait,
20% winners.
Guys, I'm the one that's up
25% even.
1,800. Where do you guys go?
I'm like break even. I'm just in the middle of
It's
the
a
pack right now.
long season, Conrad.
Okay,
long
all right.
season.
Yeah, but Conrad's cooking.
right now he's cooking.
You guys are so cooked.
I mean, if you look at
guys
Matt's
are
parlay for this
so
week,
cooked.
I'm coming back this week. All right, Brent won the teaser
takes
last
one.
week. Is
I
that
think
accurate?
Brent-
so
I
Brent
think
had a
so.
4-teamer, but
Okay.
one of them pushed,
Oh, so it turned into a
so
3.
it turned into a 3-teamer.
Yeah, I gave him $100 win or something along those lines.
So
Oh.
Hanks
I don't
won some
know.
money,
Okay.
but Conrad was the
He
winner of
needed
the
it.
week. With
And,
his,
and Hunt won.
Hunt did win. He did win. He had
He's cooking.
He had
He's
a
like
little,
3 weeks in a row.
I think he had a little soccer parlay.
just for what it's worth, him saying that he didn't like the bit, every time he wins now, he just puts his thing in the chat and says, punch it.
Right.
It's like, oh, I see how this
That's
works.
the thing. No one likes the bit when they're on the ass end of it, but whenever they get to turn it around on the crew, they love the fucking bit.
He gives a nice fucking fist pump like, yes!
All right, what's going on for this week?
I mean, I'm not fucking up the flow. You know what I mean? I'm staying with it. E-Fro. I'm going with Indiana -7. Either -7 or -6.5. Quap, throw that shit up for me.
Indiana?
Indiana.
College?
Yep. -6.5, and I'm taking Louisville -7 against Boston College.
Oh, he downsides the bets, man. I was hoping.
What is he talking about?
It's like he's learning.
I bet 500 to win
again.
1,800.
Oh, yeah. I'm reading. Oh, that's
Downsized
plus
what?
261.
And
Sorry.
I'm gonna win
I
this,
see.
and then you guys are absolutely dead. So I'll be hanging out, laughing at you for week by week.
Looks like we get it back 500 at a time, boys.
All right. What do you got this week?
Wait, do we wait for E-Fro?
Oh, E-Fro, talk to me.
E-Fro should judge each one.
Yes.
Like,
I want to grade here.
A
E-Fro.
through F.
I want to grade.
Just
here.
pretend you know what you're talking about. The audience doesn't know that you're not sharp.
but here's the no, but that's the thing is that like you guys know how this stuff works. Like you don't have to be sharp to know. Like there is no just like this is the sharp side, this is the stupid side.
Right.
Like the number of times that's come up in the past decade, it's like, oh yeah, if you bet on McGregor against Floyd, that was a stupid bet.
Right.
There aren't very many of those. It's not like the spread is set where it's just like, you bet on the Commanders, like, you idiot. Of course the Panthers are going to cover 8 points.
The
It's
lines
like,
are so,
no,
the
of
line is
course
so
not.
good.
Well, let me tell you about my parlay, and then you can maybe.
Hold on.
wait, he's not done yet.
Let me finish.
With that
Let him
said,
finish.
Like anytime there's a side like that, and you'll see Conrad talks about, like he understands that there's line movement, and so once you get the bad side of a line because it's moved because the sharps have hit it, okay, now you're just taking a worse bet because you might be betting on the sharp side, but you're betting at a bad price, or the opposite where now it's. But like that's the thing is that when the Panthers +9 becomes +7, the other side's probably a good bet. Like there's a reason why the other sharps didn't bet that +9. They didn't like that. -7 on the other side's probably pretty good. So like both sides are fine. The problem you guys have is that you're taking these things that are 50-50 to begin with, where you're getting not 50% odds, you're not getting 1-to-1, and now you're parlaying them to get less than 25% odds twice. It's like, okay, but now we'll do it 6 times. Let's all take these 6 coin flips, and instead of getting, 2 to the 6th power, I'm going to get 2 to the 7th power.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you.
Mark, let's hear your pick, Mark.
Hold on. He did win though.
I have a 2-teamer.
Okay, well, as long as he won.
I have one only 2-teamer.
Mark, let's hear what you got.
All right. With all that being said,
Wait, how can I get it the worst possible? Give me a little bit longer.
I, of course, am on the Steelers this week, and I got some ground to make up because these goddamn same-game parlays have been eating my ass. All right? So I came in, and I was like, you know what? We're going to play a little conservative this week. I can't imagine I'm going to get a good price on anything Steeler-related. They're going to mop the fucking Giants. So here we got the Steelers -6. That's a fucking lock. Okay, throw it in. No big deal. And I was looking like maybe over-under. No, I'm not too sharp on that, as we see from the last 2 weeks. What about the defense scoring a touchdown? I like it. They're so due. They got really close last week, tackled at the one after what it was a near pick 6. It's going to happen this week. Danny Dimes probably good for 3 turnovers minimum. Maybe a J.J. Watt scoop and score. Who knows? So that was like, I was like, okay, I'm good on that. 50 to win like 250, And then I looked at the standings. And I was like, no. We got too much ground to make up. Conrad's out here firing the whole fucking roll. I'm going to need to make up a little ground. So I was like, well, let's throw on one more. Let's see what we got. So I look at the passing yards. Now, I could have taken Russ at over 225, which I think is close. I think he'll probably throw somewhere between 200 and 240. I think that's pretty reasonable. And I would have gotten, like 8-1 on my parlay, $50 to win like 450 or something like that. But then I looked again and I said, what if we take Russ over 275? Now I'm getting 32 to 1 or more. I'm getting 66 to 1. I was like,
holy shit.
Did they not offer over 300?
No.
It's just one more tackle to break.
They maxed me out. So I said, what the fuck? Let's gamble on the extra 50 yards, baby. So we got Russ cooking for plus 275.
If you hit a 65 to 1 shot,
$50 to win 3,300. Gonna lock it up for the fucking year. I'll be betting $50 the rest of the way out on one single game outcome, assuming I scoop this.
I
one.
like it, Burke. I like that's a good bet. Let's put mine up. Pretty much a lock.
You know the greatest part about this? After you hit that, you'll still be behind me.
That's what you think.
Yep.
I like that you guys went from picks where you're like, we need the Steelers to crush, but like, oh no, they crushed them too much last week. What do we do?
2 weeks in a row, man. 2 weeks in a row. They fucking
We
scored that
finally
many
got
points.
there. The Steelers are rolling, but they rolled too hard.
Yeah. See,
Really
I didn't
overshot
think
it.
they would cry. I thought they would just win the game, narrowly. Not this week.
No.
We got Russ.
Yeah.
Let's ride,
Oh, no.
baby. So we got the Steelers, of course, -6. And then we got...
Because that's a lock. Like, just throw it in there.
We ain't fucking with no unders. We
No.
got the over 36 and a
Wow.
half.
Okay.
Higher.
Shut up. Landon, shut up. The bit is dead.
Send an email to Underdog and get us our goddamn sponsorship back.
And
just send a reel of you, like a fast clip of like you for an entire year going over, under, higher, lower.
That would actually be really good if you could just actually go through each episode because he hasn't shut up in the last year.
That's true.
So I also have Russ with the over yards.
Higher.
Russ higher than 25 or 225. I the normal line.
You get better odds if you go to 275.
I heard that.
They pay you even more.
But I am the tortoise, so
It's
I take
a
the
lock.
conservative route.
Right.
But I threw a little twist in there.
A little salt
yeah,
bay
a
in
little
there.
salt, a little mooth, if you will. So here's the thing.
A little move.
You guys saw what happened last week. Pickens was just, Russ the Pickens all day long, right? The Giants see that. They're going to be concerned with him. They're going to forget about the Muth. I tell you what, just like the fantasy footballers say, the Muth is going to get Luth. Right? He's getting Luth, and he's going to score a touchdown, and that's going to give us 15 to 1, 50 to win, 800. Lock it up. It's a
E-Fro,
win.
lock it up. It's a lock.
Like, here's the thing. Like, like, these are actually somewhat reasonable. Like, obviously, this is not a bet that's going to win, but you're getting the odds that say that the bet's not going to win. Like,
Right.
Of course, it will hit 1 to 2% of the time. You're getting paid like it's going to hit, 1
7.
to 2% of the time. Ish. A little bit worse. Like, Berkey's bet, clearly much worse. Right. Like, this is when Landon bet on the Eagles to roll the Browns by 9 points and is betting on Saquon higher on yards and on a touchdown. Okay, those are correlated things. Like, when the Eagles are rolling, Saquon's probably having a good game. He scores a lot of the times where that happens. Is Landon going to win the bet? Probably not. That's why he's getting 15 or whatever to 1.
Right.
But each one makes the other one more likely.
I
Or
should
you
have
have
picked
then you
him
have
against the
Berkey's bet
Giants.
where Russell's going to set his career high and the defense is scoring touchdowns. In what universe is Russ just airing this ball out and the defense is scoring touchdowns? Like, of course it could happen.
That's why you get
But it's
66 to 1.
absurd.
I would like to know why I wasn't able to both bet the defense of the Steelers scoring a touchdown and like Pickens scoring a
I was
touchdown.
going to say, I don't know why you don't have someone like Pickens
It
scoring a
wouldn't allow
touchdown
me.
if you're
You're
going,
not allowed.
It would only allow me to do correlation
wait.
through yardage, which
That's actually kind of
is
weird.
very weird.
They should let you.
Yeah, well, they talked me into this instead,
Yeah,
so
because
it's pretty sharp.
I'm pretty sure they would let you bet parlay two different TD scores.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like in
I
the
think you
same
have to go
game?
the other side. Like it would let me choose from any of the Giants.
Oh, so
You didn't do first touchdown. did
No,
you?
no, anytime.
Anytime?
Anytime. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, Berkey has these parlays
That
that are
was the
like
real
both
straw.
quarterbacks over passing yards, under the game, and you're just like, okay, like, how does this game play out where this happens? It requires such a specific run out.
That was an inch away from hitting for E-Fro.
Wait, he
You
did
just needed these 2 of the 6 to hit, and we would have been there. Like, okay.
He had all this stuff, and then he had like the Steelers win. The Steelers win by.
They just had to win by less than 16.
Yeah, but they had to win by less than 16, but more than like 6.
And Fields needed like 5 more passing yards.
Yeah.
Honestly,
and that
that
number
was
was only 150. It wasn't even like a big number.
That was the sickest beat of all time.
I agree, Landon. I'm glad you're on my
Many
side
are
for this
calling
one.
it the sickest beat of all time.
Many are calling it.
Unprecedented beat.
That's right. Go ahead, Landon. You're up.
Yep. Okay. I know. Very, very shocker, but just Texans -5. That's it.
I can't believe you just
Boring.
no
Texans
longer a
-5.
Dolphins fan.
CJ, what can I do? My quarterback may or may not slide into a defender again, and I can't risk my theoretical money on that guy.
I understand
CJ Stroud
Won't slide into defenders.
won't. That's all I'm looking for.
That's all you need. Oppo, what you got?
I'm going with Senor Holloway.
There it is.
Plus 210. My camera is frozen, but I will throw it up anyway.
Man,
It has gotten down to plus 180. So I like it.
I mean, he had one of the best fights he had one of the best 10 seconds of a fight I've ever seen in my life the last time he fought.
Yeah.
He had the fight completely won in the last 10 seconds. He called him out in the middle of the ring, and they just threw a lot of bows.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was some sick shit. I hope I see some shit like that again.
GL Max.
Do you know anything about UFC?
No.
Are you taking Holloway?
I can tell you who I already took. I had nothing to do with it, shockingly.
All right, so E-Fro has a theoretical $1,000, and he is betting.
Give him a minute. What's Platt and
I can't even
Hangster?
pronounce the names of these guys we bet on.
I like your side.
Petrosian, Magomedov.
Yeah.
Sure, him too.
Hey, Connie, I got it up on the screen for you.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Nordiev.
That's Jeff Platt.
That's got to be Jeff. College
All right,
football.
So we got Jeff Platt going with Akron +3. He's in second place right now. You know, he was cooking for a little bit. He's not doing too well last week, but he's betting 345 to win probably like 300.
I'll let you guess who that is.
And we have a tantalizing teaser, as they say, from Mr. Hanks. Jets -1, Texans +0.5, and the Ravens -2.5. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, he teased something to +0.5.
I'm with
okay,
you,
so
bro.
if this game ends in a tie, we got value.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
There it is. This is what we came for.
He also did a 4-team teaser to win like $30.
That's the thing. Like, betting teasers is totally fine. Like, is it the sharpest play? Like, rarely, but like, okay. But there's a reason why you bet teasers. You bet a 6-point teaser because a team is -7.5, -8, whatever, 8.5, and you can get it down past the 7, past the 3, or the other way. You know, they're +2, and you can get it to +7.5, +8, whatever. Okay, these are key numbers. They matter for a reason. Like, the majority of games end on these things. But when you're teasing from -2.5 to +2.5, like, yeah, games obviously end on 1 and 2, but not a lot of them. And the price you're paying doesn't change.
Right.
Like, you're just paying the same price to buy these points. It's like when Conrad takes a 6.5-point dog and goes like, I'll take -10. It's like, okay, like, yeah, you can sell 17 points. Like, doesn't really do much for you.
Well,
Hey, man, if the Commanders won that game against the Ravens, he would have been rich.
listen.
great.
You know,
True.
They just
sometimes
need to score
great.
2 more touchdowns and have the Ravens score 1 less touchdown, and we were home.
And they had to score 30 points.
Yeah, that's what I said. They had to score
sometimes-
2 more touchdowns also.
Higher.
sometimes they just win that game by, you know, like 30.
Yeah. A
I
couple
mean,
percent of
to
the
be
time.
fair, I
It's
was rooting
not
for
that
you.
game.
I was actually rooting for you. Fuck
That would
the
have been great
Ravens.
for us, yeah.
And then what's the final one? Hunt?
Oh, we have Hunt, yes, with the soccer parlay, I believe.
Yep. 1 sec.
I mean, in his defense, he's also betting football.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going with overs. Wow.
Hires.
We're going with hires. Higher 2.75. All right, listen.
Why did they do this,
Why
E-Fro?
are they doing this shit?
Why is it 0.75 instead of a half?
Okay. Do you actually not know?
No, I don't.
Okay. This is what I was trying to say. When you
because
guys were
teasing?
arguing
No.
on team totals, what they do for soccer is the half. Like, if you want to bet on 2.25, like if you're betting $100, you're betting $50 on 2 and $50 on 2.5.
Oh,
So
okay.
if it lands on 2, you get half your bet back
Oh, okay.
on an under 2.25.
Right, right, right.
Oh,
On a
Interesting.
lower 2.25, of course.
Okay.
interesting.
Fascinating.
All right, well,
So like when you guys were arguing on season win total, when you couldn't decide whether 8 or 8.5 matters, like 8.25 could then be a thing theoretically, soccer style, where you basically push half the bet on an 8.
Right. Okay.
There had to be some method to the madness.
Yeah, of course.
It's pretty cool. Like
we're
it's
just
weird,
idiots.
but yeah.
We're certainly not
It's just
sharp.
better than having to bet both things. Like they do the same thing with like baseball run lines, where now you can bet on just like -1 instead of betting on -1.5 and money line, and you're just kind of getting, which it kind of creates the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. A lot of hedging out in the world, if you will.
De-risking.
Kind of. Yeah, de-risking.
It's basically making 2 bets at once, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
Kind
that's fair.
Oh, maybe you should ask E-Fro what he thinks about that whole thing.
About what thing?
When you and I had a conversation about betting the Titans and then betting continually.
Okay.
What do you call that?
We will do that after we bring in another special guest today, which is one Jen Shahade.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are here in the midst of a very sports-intensive conversation that I imagine you couldn't care less about.
Well, basketball is the one sport I really follow these days because
Great,
my
that's the
son,
one we didn't
my
talk
son
about.
loves it. But my parents were very into sports betting, so I've heard it around since I was a little kid.
That's fair. What have you been up to? I feel like it's been a while since I've ran into you anywhere. Maybe last year's NAPT was the last time I saw you.
Yeah, I was in the World Series of Poker just for a week this year. I finished writing a new book, Thinking Sideways, which is going to be out next year. Super excited about that. And yeah,
Tell me more before you just jump over that. That title's intriguing to me. What does it mean?
Well, basically the idea is that whenever I tell people that I'm a chess player, the first thing they ask me is, did that guy really cheat using nano beads?
Right.
And then the second thing they ask me,
I hope you say yes.
They all do.
No.
You can bet on
I'm
that.
going to go with a big no. But the second thing they ask me is, you must think so many moves ahead. How many moves do you think ahead? And it's totally the wrong question. Because really what the greatest chess players are good at is thinking of better options than their opponent. So it's like, really, like, how many moves do they think sideways as opposed to how many moves they think ahead? I mean, of course, they also think ahead in certain positions, but most of the wins really come from, like, I see a move that my opponent didn't see. Not like I see a move 6 moves ahead that they didn't see. Like, that's really rare. It happens, but it's a little less common. So that's kind of the concept of the book, that we should be like thinking less like far into the future and more like chess players, and being kind of flexible and making that sideways move that other people miss. And I think the concept's very applicable to poker as well.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, that sort of versatility seems like it would lend itself. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel like that's kind of the approach that you take, especially once you get pretty well versed in theory. It's more so about like creating a framework that allows you to identify an opportunity, more so than it is like, okay, I do this, you do that, I do this then instead, and now I can anticipate you'll do this.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that like flexibility and that creativity, really. Like trying to create situations where things are new for you and for your opponent. And my book's not all about competition. Some of it is just like finding the best version of yourself. Like, I have a chapter about chess boxing, not because I am a boxer. I've gotten invited to play chess boxing matches in the past.
You should do it.
I do like working out. It's the part about getting hit in the face.
Right. Yeah.
That freaks me out, especially because that is the moneymaker when you're a chess poker player and an author, right? It's like, okay. But that's true for all chess boxers, really, right? They're all out there, like, you know, with their most valuable asset in the line. And, you know, I'm sure you might have seen some of these chess boxing matches. They're not exactly like, it doesn't seem like people are really, they're wearing headgear. So it's probably a little safer than your typical boxing match. But I've never played in it, but I am absolutely fascinated by the popularity. And I knew the creator. He's actually an artist, which shocks people. They think that he might have been like a chess player or a boxer, retired, you know, something like that, right? Retired boxer. No, he's actually an artist. And chess boxing was a conceptual art piece. And
interesting.
That is so cool to me. So the idea was we wanted to create like the ultimate warrior on the intellectual side and the physical side at the same time. But so he created this idea. He was very popular, very influential, knew the whole like German art scene in Berlin. And he ended up getting like hundreds of people to come to the very first chess boxing match, which was him, because he's pretty good at boxing and pretty good at chess. And he played against a friend of his who was pretty good at chess and pretty good at boxing. Like pretty good meaning, you know, very good, but not professional level. And Jeppe Rubing, who is the inventor of chess boxing, sadly passed. He ended up winning and called himself the world chess boxing champion. And so to me, this is like a great metaphor for being successful in life. Find something, 2 things maybe, that you're good at, conquer that intersection, and then call yourself the world champion of it. I think you were just looking at the match between, was that Andrea Botez and Dina Valenkaya? Yeah. I talk about that match. This one is Andrea in the black is expert level chess player, and she's playing against Andrea, who's a women grandmaster, international master level. But it, you know, if you watch the boxing, you'll see that Andrea has an edge in the ring, and Dina had a big edge on the board. So it was kind of like the way the sport works is you play alternating rounds of chess and boxing, like 4 moves of chess followed by a round of boxing. And if you get knocked out or checkmate, you win. So the better chess player is like trying to survive so that they can checkmate.
Right. And that match ended in a draw, or Andrea got checkmated?
It was actually very controversial, because what happened was that Dina survived the last round of boxing, and then she checkmated Andrea. So she won the bout, but then it was overturned the next day because they said that there were too many stoppages, and Andrea should have gotten a TKO.
Right.
So then she got a belt as well, but they didn't take Dina's belt away.
Okay.
So I feel like that one's kind of murky. Like, who won in the end?
Right. I'm not really a participation trophy type of person, but in this instance, I don't mind them both getting a belt. Because I actually remember of all the matches that took place, this was the one that, like, this is the only one I remember.
Yes, I completely agree with that take, and it was a really beautiful checkmate at the end by Dina as well. So, and I also think it's like, on one level, it's not your fault if the refs mess up, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
like,
What if it
she
was the
shouldn't
last
be
leg of your 18
humiliated.
parlay?
Like, she didn't do anything wrong.
How much does their chess game diminish after getting like pummeled in the face for 3 minutes straight, and then have to go down and start thinking about chess? Like,
I mean, I think any physical activity combined with a mental activity is difficult.
Right.
I haven't done chess boxing, but I do sometimes play alternating rounds of basketball and chess, or I play hula chess, which you could find on YouTube, which is pretty fun. It's very visual. You can see my hula hoop on the back wall. And that is like, you're literally hula hooping with a chessboard from the ceiling. And yes, it's difficult to think straight when you're moving. It takes practice. Yeah. And I spoke to different people who participate in these chess boxing matches, and they say one of the keys is like keeping your heart rate down when you start playing chess, like trying to slow it so that your heart's not beating out of your chest while you're trying to think. It's pretty interesting.
I think
because I've seen that also. Any kind of cardio that you do followed by trying to think, you need practice, because at first you're just like terrible at thinking. Like even a great chess player will blunder a queen or something.
Yeah, I think that there's room for this with poker. I mean,
right. I was thinking that you and Nick Airball, that would have been perfect, right? You get in the ring, punch each other in the face, and then sit down and play some heads up hold'em.
That I would have live streamed.
No, $1 million not enough?
Of course.
I mean,
you wanted to win more?
We're gonna need so many emotional support humans.
That would have been the time for Ishan to be in the corner at the top. That would have been absolutely
Trying to
perfect.
stop getting hit.
No, honestly, that would be great for poker, right? Like,
well, I mean, I've done some challenges like this in the past as well. Not to the high degree of like chess and some sort of activity, but you know, like even in sport growing up, you often go through these sort of instances where your heart rate's elevated and then you have to think. So like when I would play baseball, we would like run many miles and come back, and then we would have to like do drills on throwing certain pitches with certain execution.
Yeah.
And that requires like thought and concentration. You're just gassed.
like a quarterback, right? You're always thinking as a quarterback, and there's like, you know, you got all these things going through your head, and then you're out there like running for your life. A guy hits you, then you have to get up to the line and like call audibles. It can't be easy.
I mean, at least for them, it's more instinctual because it's still with the game within the game. But I think that this marriage would be like very interesting in poker sense, like heads up poker,
right?
And then any physical activity,
right?
Like any sort of sport, whether it's combat or cardio or whatever. I mean, maybe
I feel like it has to be combat, man. Especially if we go in the 1v1.
Combat makes it a lot more viewable.
Fight to the death.
You got to go 1v1 with the Undertaker, you know?
Yeah,
that's how it's got to be.
Game of Gold season 2.
That's right. Now we're talking. This is Game of Gold-esque. Have you been good?
Oh, go ahead.
No,
well, I was going to say, I've thought about this because it's worked so elegantly for so many forms of chess to like combine it with a physical sport or activity, like whether it's like hula hooping or basketball or boxing, the most famous one. And they even have like a world chess championship in France every year. But in poker, it's a little trickier, but I do think it's doable. But the fact of poker being like an incremental game rather than a binary 1-0 game makes it a little more challenging. So one way to do it would be to like give a certain number of chips for the physical competition. Like if you get completely destroyed in a race, you get way fewer chips and then you play heads up. So it gives an inherent advantage to the better sports person while still being able to make it like a competition where one person wins.
Right. Or like if you're doing rounds, just handicap each round based off of, you know, you either gain or lose chips based off of like how that round was scored.
Or do it like Survivor and have these races back and forth where you have to carry something heavy that contains an amount of chips in it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
As you get more across the line,
there's definitely a lot of
those.
like game show-esque type of derivatives of this. I mean, honestly, like I think this type of like creative ways of being a little more inventive with poker.
How about pickleball poker?
Pickleball poker would be great. I mean, you don't really get the heart rate up.
That's true.
Yeah, it is doable though. Have you been playing much in recent days?
I played in the I played a little bit in the EPT in Barcelona, so that was my last live event. But actually last weekend, that's not true. Last weekend I went to Philly Live where there was a women's event that Caitlin won. Caitlin Arini, she won the package to the Women's Winter Festival in London. So that was a really cool event. It was not not a huge turnout because it wasn't even like a particularly special series at Philly Live. It was like one of their regular fall series of tournaments, and they added this women's package for poker stars. But it was quite cool, and it got like 50 runners. And it just reminded me how fun it is to sometimes play in these women's events. And as you know, they're going to bring one back at the NAPT. They're bringing back a women's event, which is on November 5th, Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. That event, so that's just prior to the main event, or is it during the main event?
It is day 1A. So,
okay, yeah.
But if a woman who wants to play in the main event happens to win the thing, there is registration all the way into day 2. So at least there's that possibility to play both.
And it's just a tournament, right? It's not a meetup game.
The women's event is just a tournament. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, November 5th. If any ladies are going to be in town for the NAPT, that's a $300 buy-in. Is that right?
Yeah, and it got a great turnout last year with Kaina ended up winning it. She got heads up against Lindsay. So really star-studded field. Actually, that's one thing you notice these days with the lower buy-in women's events, that a lot of times they're actually stronger, tougher than an event of a similar open buy-in.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really funny change. And the reason for that is that a lot of women who wouldn't normally play a $300 tournament, they jump in because it's prestigious and it's fun. And so you'll see people there who, somebody like Shuan, if she's free, might play in it, but she would never play in another $300 tournament, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I think that that vibe is really catching on. And so they become tough tournaments for sure, but a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it seems like more and more operators are kind of onboarding this, and more importantly, I think empowering particular influencers within the space to just kind of take hold. I know Jamie's hosting a ladies meetup game at Venetian. She's been doing it monthly, pretty routinely. Now You're With Stars, and it seems like this is going to be a mainstay, I would imagine, for the NAPT stops. I'm not sure what their plans are moving forward. Maybe if you can let us in, but currently it's just been the annual one at Vegas. In the past, it had been 2 or 3 a year. And I think that they tested out some other stops this past summer, maybe. I feel like they did one maybe either in Maryland or Philly, if I'm not mistaken.
Those events are not technically NAPTs, but they did do events at Maryland Live and Philly Live. So Maryland Live, we had this mystery bounty event, which was really cool. Yeah. I'm sure that unless there will definitely be an intent to put women's events on every stop. If it's possible, because they're already doing that in the EPTs. And, women's poker in America is even more popular, I would say, than it is in Europe, except maybe with the exception of London and the UK, where it also has a lot of support. Malta, of course, has lots of great women's events. So there are exceptions, but overall, I think women in poker in the United States is really booming in a way where any women's event you put on the tour is going to get a lot of runners.
I think that's kind of interesting because, dating back to pre-Black Friday days and then shortly thereafter, I think a lot of the statistics were such that it was almost a 10-to-1 ratio of women who are comfortable playing online versus live, which would insinuate that, poker in Europe would just churn out a lot of fantastic female players because they have access to rest of world online. But it seems like it might actually be moving in the opposite direction, which, to credit to you and a lot of the other more strong voices in this space, seems as though the live space is becoming more welcoming, a safer atmosphere, and more importantly, just running events like this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's cultural too. In the United States, America, poker, Texas Hold'em. It's got a little cultural cachet here, which I think makes it a little more acceptable. And, that's it does. Honestly, there's this Women's Winter Festival in London. And in London, they're always getting a ton of runners for every women's event. They even have weekly ladies' nights at the Hippodrome. So it's also quite huge there. So I think there's a lot of positive things going for women in poker for sure. It's really exciting to see. Yeah,
it seems pretty great. When do you get out here for an APT?
About a week from now. I have a 7-year-old, so I have to do the Halloween thing. That's the holiday you can't miss if you have kids. I don't know. Does anybody else have kids in this group here today?
Well, actually, somehow no.
It's
Not
like,
that we're aware of, anyway.
you would think it would be like the kid's birthday, but I would much rather miss my son's birthday than Halloween, because you can't, like, a birthday you can always schedule the party for a different time or something, but like Halloween you can't reschedule it. It is October 31st. You gotta be there. So I'm leaving right after that.
For little boys too, I think that there's an underlying level of competition. Like when you go to school the next day, there's like almost a count of like, well, how many Reese's peanut butter cups did you get? It's like, I got them all.
That's a good point. It's like collecting chips. Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
Like there is this collecting instinct for children that definitely comes out on Halloween.
I remember when we were kids, it was so much about efficiency. We couldn't figure out how to tackle the entire town. So when we were like 11, we all dressed up as hockey players. We dressed up as Mighty Ducks and just wore our rollerblades and just skated the town. And I got to tell you, you cover a lot more ground when you're on wheels. It's not even close.
Right. Smart.
Suddenly, we're rich with chocolate.
Oh yeah, I mean, it literally can last all year these days.
Yeah.
Like
well, if you're a responsible
wild.
parent, maybe. We weren't turning that into any adults. All right. Well, I guess we can get you out of here on that note. Looking forward to seeing you. If you have time, by all means, please stop by. We'll have you in the studio for real. We actually might be on site. We're kicking around the idea, so there's a
that'd
chance.
be great. Yes.
We're trying to figure
It's
out.
going to be a wonderful week. I mean, there's so much going on. I know you're playing the main, and you guys are playing the main, right?
Yeah, Landon and I for sure will be in the main. Maybe a couple of these other guys pop in. Might play a couple of the high rollers. Not sure yet.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. I mean, last year was awesome too.
Last year was great. I think the momentum of just like bringing it back was it's a weird thing in poker where I think the one area where a brand can like disappear and reemerge almost stronger than ever because of prior support.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I saw on the schedule this year, if I recall correctly, it wasn't on it last year, is there's a lot of nightly turbos. That is my favorite. I love the nightly hyper turbos with Poker Stars because, the dealers are really well trained. And so you can actually get in hands in like 15-minute levels. And they're so fun. And everybody like kind of loves to play those. It's just nice to see that in the United States because usually you don't have live turbos in most USA tournaments. And
unless they're
Poker
like
Stars
dailies
does them
or...
so well.
Yeah, I can agree with that one. Now that I'm a recreational also, I don't care about structure. So sign me up for the 15-minute levels.
Let's go.
I'm all in.
I mean, if you get hands, like if you get some hands in, and the thing is, if you have something to do during the day, like if you have a podcast or whatever, the fact that you're still able to like get work done during the day and then play a poker tournament, I think that's a really cool option. That's what it's all about to me, like options. And I think that's good for all recreational players, for women for sure, to just give people options for the really deep structures that, by the way, a lot of women love because they want to get in that practice.
Right,
but then also for people who are busy during the day for whatever reason, whether it's like kids or work, give them a chance to play something as well.
Oh, I will ask you one last question. Maybe you have an answer to this. Do you know if they'll be running a bunch of the milestone satellites?
I do know that the SATIs for the big game qualifiers are milestones.
Yeah.
So you need to get to 50K chips in order to make the round of auditions, right? And as for the other types of satellites, most of the SATIs I think are win your seat at 100K chips or 50K depending on the structure. So
yeah, I know the EPTs and PCA and other stars events were always like that. I'm really excited for people to just get to experience like what an EPT is without actually having to leave the country. I think it's like truly second to none when it comes to the tours.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it is on election week as well. So that's going to be like a very interesting time to be in Las Vegas. Usually I'm in Philadelphia that week. So I early voted. But it's going to be a very like a week with like a lot of heightened emotions where I feel like it'll be interesting to be in the casino environment where people have built-in distractions.
There will be last minute bets.
You go from one swing state to another swing state.
That's right. But I'm only voting once, don't worry.
Okay. That's all right.
Allegedly.
The conspiracy is in.
All right, Jen, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time. I'll see you in a week.
Yeah, see you soon. See you in Vegas.
Jen. Thanks, Jen.
Bye.
I forget how quick these things are coming up. Like Halloween's
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we gotta get everybody got locked in on costumes.
I got one.
Jesse, you gonna come for the Halloween show?
Yes.
Yes, he said.
Okay. Are you gonna dress up?
But he's not allowed here if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa.
Oh my god.
Would seem as though the muscle will remove you.
Well, then the answer is maybe.
No, you can come just as yourself. You can,
It's already been a year since the Harley Quinn costume that Melissa got me.
Harley Quinn
He was
costume?
wearing some fucking
You
tight
remember?
ass latex.
With
You
the-
don't
with the
remember
little
this?
hat?
He was
Last
he
year?
was like the Joker. He was like
Oh
a.
my
what were
gosh.
you?
He was Harley Quinn.
It was not like actively Harley Quinn. It
It
was
was
like
Harley
the
Quinn.
jester,
Jester, yeah,
black
you were a
red
jester,
archetype.
Mhm.
And you, what was it?
I was Sven.
You were Sven.
He sat
I was
right
Taylor
there with a
Swift.
skin tight latex
right
suit
here.
on.
Yeah.
I somehow don't remember that at all.
It's in history. It's there.
Yeah, it's in the archives for
no,
sure.
but I'm early this year because I was invited to a Halloween party
Oh.
that I will attend.
Wow, look at you.
I know.
Guy.
You're being all social.
Can I tell you guys one of my biggest regrets in life?
Of course.
Of course, yeah,
Would love to
absolutely.
hear it.
Saying that you were going to come on next week.
The final table of the main event that I played, when we got three-handed, we came back for the second day, and it was on Halloween because it was an election year, so they didn't do it in November.
Right.
And Russ got fourth, so he bubbled the last day, but he was like one of my best friends, and is one of my best friends. And I was going to wear fake glasses and bleach my hair blonde and go as him.
Wow.
That would have been so good.
And instead, what I should have done is I should have shaved my head, got glasses, and worn, because Greggy always wore a
Orioles jersey.
Orioles jersey. I was going to wear a Red Sox jersey.
Right.
And I don't know why I didn't do that.
Just to
And that
be
would've
the
been-
Greggy antithesis.
Dude, we played three-handed for like 14 hours. Imagine he's just sitting across from me.
Sitting across
like,
from himself.
Dressed as a Boston version of Greggy. It would have been so good.
You would never shave those beautiful locks of yours.
You might have won if that was the
doesn't
case.
have it in them.
They got bald wigs, Berkey.
Oh, okay.
I've
All right.
heard, you might be
Bald
right about
caps?
that, but I'll find a way to.
Yeah, actually, Melissa
That was
apparently
you.
wore one last year.
Nikki was
Okay,
me.
I remember Nikki.
Nice.
I remember Nikki being you. Honestly, the Nikki costume's a little bit lazy, but she was so fucking good
Yeah.
that it's okay.
I haven't
Like,
had ice cream in so long.
her
man.
impersonation of you was just so good.
Wait,
Oh
who is
my
she?
god, that was so bad.
Sven.
I nailed Sven. I absolutely
You did.
nailed
You
Sven.
did.
Man, we need to bring Sven back.
Hard rock Wapo.
That was really good. His cuz from the year before was also like very good.
Yes.
Mainly because he surprised us with it. Like
Right.
it's just cut to him and he's got a cigar in his mouth. that was pretty
What
nice.
was I 2 years ago? Well, you were me.
I was you in a towel.
You're me in a towel.
I was,
You-
the,
you were-
I was the tortoise.
You were Johnny
obviously.
Bravo.
I was Johnny,
Johnny
Bravo.
Bravo,
yeah.
Right.
Conrad was AC Slater, which was actually really spot on.
I mean, Conrad's Al Loco was good too, but
I didn't know
yeah,
who
that
Al
was a
Loco
good
was, but
one.
once you showed me a picture of it, I knew,
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
what we were dealing with here. I think next week's Weekend Warrior should all be election bets.
Halloween
Let's go.
spooky bets.
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
mind
you think
that.
my parlays are bad now?
go.
I'll take the orange man.
You think my parlays are bad now, E-Fro? Wait till you see the states that I put together next week.
Did you guys see what happened on Polymarket the other day?
No, tell us.
Some new account put like 30
25 million.
25
Yeah,
million
a
in-
French like trader or something, right?
No, but a different account put like 30 million in and ran Trump up to 99.7% momentarily. Like they bought the whole order
really?
book, so you could have
Oh,
got
wow.
Kamala at 0.3%.
No
Oh, shit.
way.
For the moment, yeah, like they just don't understand how order.
Do you guys
books work.
remember when
of
that
course.
used?
Holy shit.
I mean, I'm
That's why you
dating.
gotta have those limit orders in.
I'm
Yeah.
dating myself
Yeah,
a little
you gotta
bit,
have
but
stink orders
Right,
in there,
yeah.
stink bids. Yeah.
do you remember when this was like a very common theme with crypto? Like people would put in limit orders for like flash crashes all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
When new exchanges were opening up all over the place, you were able to just like arb by
Yeah.
like buying one and selling on another exchange, especially with shit coins. Like it was just endless free money that I made exactly zero of.
Yeah, just classic example of like seeing that and being like, why didn't I do that? It's
100%.
just so simple, yeah.
And like I can recall very vividly having conversations with people day after day. Like Robo would be in the big game, and every day I'd be talking to him, and he'd be like, "Oh, there's these sick arb spots here and there," and I'm just thinking to myself, "Man, I'm playing for $500,000 right now. I'm not about to go sift through the internet looking for cents on the dollar. That seems crazy.
Yeah, but it's free cents on the dollar.
It didn't feel free. It felt scary because I didn't know anything.
It's scary how free
but
it
was
is.
very free.
It's scary.
It was
Well, that's
super
never
free.
held you back before. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're right. You don't have to preface that with "I'm just kidding." You're very, very, very correct.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I just saw a spot and took it.
Yeah, that's
I didn't mean it.
That's what we do, Jesse. You know, that's what we're here to
This
do.
is what this podcast is built off of.
What were we gonna get to after Jen, Conrad? There was something.
We're gonna do Weekend Warrior picks.
No, we did that.
All right, we're gonna talk to Jen.
We did, yeah.
All right, and then
I feel like
we're gonna make fun of some limit players.
Oh, I mean, we can definitely do that.
I mean, we got a bunch of Ming clickers in here.
Wait,
I was gonna ask E-Fro what his thoughts were on the World Series since it starts tonight. I know you dislike both teams.
Me as well.
And you also don't care.
Wait,
if
that's not
either
a
one
Yankees
wins?
jersey?
No.
Show it to him again. Look at
That's
that.
messed up.
NYC.
Are you gonna watch?
Probably not.
Wow.
I mean, mostly just because I'm in town for a convention. and stuff.
Okay,
not
yes.
like
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
was sitting at home with
Right.
nothing to do, I'd be like,
Okay.
I'm spite not watching. if it's easy to watch, I'm going to watch it.
Right,
But
right.
I don't care.
You're not gonna
about it.
bet on it or anything like that.
Well, that's the thing is that with a lot of these bets, like I just have action incidentally.
Yeah.
As like, having a piece of the sports betting business.
That's
So,
true. Right.
I often do not get to decide what side
Which side you're on, yeah,
or have
that-
any
that is
impact.
very true.
And sometimes I'll see that I have a lot of money on
You are
something
the
I do
book.
not want to have any money on.
Yeah.
What's your number? What's the amount, like, piece of the group that you would have to have bet against the Yankees to be rooting the other way?
Well, that's the other thing is I can't always bet on my own. Like if I have a piece of a bet on
You
the
can lay
Yankees,
off, yeah.
I can still just lay off. Yeah. Because we're always going to have the best side. Like, I mean, we're almost always going to be moving the lines. And so, like, if I want to bet off of something, which is rare, like
E-Fro Perry? E-Fro Perry.
Yeah, but I just want to know personally.
Well,
like,
I just don't care who. Like, I'm fine with the Yankees winning. Like, I don't like the Yankees as a diehard Mets fan, but it's not like I'm a Dodger fan either. So it's like,
okay.
Like, but there are definitely spots. Like, the thing is, the Mets are the only, like, I'm a diehard Mets fan. Like,
Right.
I've been a Jets fan my whole life, but I've never really cared, probably because they've been bad my whole life.
Yeah, how
and
could
I've never
you?
gotten super into it, but it was just my dad's team, and he cared somewhat. But the Mets were his real thing, and the Mets were my real thing. And so, like, never in my life have I bet against the Mets. Even when it was sharp to bet against the Mets, I'd rather just not bet. Because I can't, like, I could have $10,000 on against the Mets. I'm still cheering for the Mets to win.
Yeah.
It's like very counterproductive to my mental sanity.
That's
Like, it's
true.
not, there's no amount of money. I mean, there is an amount of money where I could try to root against them. I just haven't been able to physically do it. No matter how much I want to. I'm like, man, I
Right.
really hope the Mets lose, but if they lose, I'll be
But
so
don't you
mad.
feel like a win-win there?
No, it's a lose-lose.
I agree with you. I'm so with you. I said something in chat the other day that I reread it back and I was like, you need to seek help immediately. But we were talking about there was a week where we took Baltimore in Survivor.
Yeah.
And it had already pared down. So at this point, like, we were already down to like 200 people and our team's worth like $70,000 or something like that. We took Baltimore, which was only 4% owned. And then we needed Cleveland to beat someone. Because
Philly.
It was Philly, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Because Philly was like
So
55%.
we were rooting hard for the Browns and the Ravens. That
And
week.
I wrote in chat. I wrote in chat and I said, as a Steelers fan, I would rather sacrifice all 14 million than actually have to root for these outcomes.
Right.
I
That's
mean, it's
not true.
like it's totally irrational. It's not like
Right.
I'm going like, no, you're stupid. Like, I of course I want the Mets to win. I physically can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I try to. Like, even I remember actually I was watching a Mets game at the Academy last year here. They were playing against the Mariners, where I live in Seattle. Seattle was in the playoff chase. The Mets were super eliminated. Terrible season. We have money on Seattle. I'm trying to root for Seattle, and I just
Can't
wasn't.
do it. Yeah.
Like,
No,
with
I
you.
was like,
I
I really
get
hope
it.
Seattle wins, but every time they got a hit, I would physically feel sick.
Of course.
Right.
This is so irrational. That's just how I feel.
You know, I'm glad you brought up the Academy. We have one coming up here in mid-November. I believe the 12th to the 14th is the Cash Game Academy, and then the 15th to the 18th is the Elite Academy, which is Poker Out Loud style. Now, what you may not know about these dates that Brian and I are hyper aware of is the Steelers play the Ravens on the 18th. And so what happened was we had a block of dates to choose from between the 12th and the like 22nd. And I got to tell you, it would have been easier on everybody if we went to the 20th instead, like that following Tuesday, instead of ending on Sunday the 18th. But what I had realized was the way the Elite Academy is set up is day 1 and day 2 are the like in-class teaching things, the things I mostly need to be there for. Day 3 and day 4 are when they play. And I can, let Hunt take care of the commentary on that one. So I was like, buddy, I'm sorry. We have to end this thing on the 18th because I'm not missing that fucking game.
Right.
Just can't do it. You got to schedule your life around these things.
It's true. When did we go to Big Bear last year? Not Big Bear. Tahoe last year.
No, it was Big Bear.
When did we go last year?
Right,
October.
Beginning October.
Oh, it's been a year
October.
already?
Yeah. It's the 1 year anniversary of I don't even know what to call that trip.
We said we were going to call it quits back then.
Yeah, well, probably should have.
Well, we're here now.
But now here we are 1 year later.
Yeah. Are we going to do that again?
And you want to do
call
it again?
quits?
Go
You don't got to talk me into a Big Bear trip.
I'm interested in snowboarding.
I'm interested. Jesse's also interested in snowboarding.
I thought you guys went snowboarding every year at the end of the year. Don't you?
I try to go snowboarding every year.
Oh, okay.
My friends, Jesse included, do not join me. And last year, I didn't go at all because no one wanted to come with me.
I got some skis sitting in the garage.
Yeah, Conrad got skis. He can't go on lifts anymore because something happened 2 years ago. I don't know. He got stuck on a lift.
On any list?
No, he got stuck on a lift for like 5 minutes, and then he came back to the lodge and was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't go up a lift.
First off, it was
like
an hour.
You and a MRI machine.
No.
Exactly. First off,
way
it was an
worse.
hour. Second off, I've been feeling the fucking consequences ever since. I can't even go on escalators anymore.
Wait, can you? What exactly happened? Did the lift just stop?
The lift just stopped.
Okay.
It was just hanging there, and I just ever since then I felt like I somehow got vertigo.
Do you think it was because you spent 60 minutes fighting the invasive thoughts
of jumping?
Yeah. Because that's taxing.
Like I started holding on. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck this is. Why am I up here? I can't take this. It was really bad.
Man, but poker for this in December is kind of full all the way through.
Yeah, that's why you go January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go Christmas.
December 20th is after December 20th. There's a nice little break.
Yeah, but December's like kind of too early to snowboard. Like we went to Tahoe last year and there was 0 snow. It was raining.
I could be talked into going to Park City again. I love Park City.
Park City was amazing. That house we got was so good. It had a fucking basketball court in the basement.
That was dope. Awesome. That was a really fun house.
I want to do Park City. My cousin just moves up there.
Have you been?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, awesome. I think Park City's like, if you encompass like all of the American ski resorts and you bucket them as far as like, S tier, A tier, whatever. I think like, all the Colorado ones, Vail, Aspen, the highest of the high.
Yeah, Vail was sick.
They're all that S tier. And then I think like the clear next tier is like Tahoe, whenever you go to like Heavenly. Like Heavenly is just right on the fringe. I think Park City like straddles that line better than anywhere I've been.
Yeah.
So you're saying Park City is a step above
It's a step above Tahoe and it's a step below Aspen.
Okay.
In my experience. Honestly, I enjoy Park City more than Vail. But that's because Vail's just like super fucking crowded and it's honestly built for skiers, I think. Like the best part is the back bowl, but it's
the back bowl's crazy.
Yeah, but like snowboarding on it's like so hard. I mean, granted, I went during like a whiteout, so it was just like nothing but moguls.
I had the same experience. It was just like dumping snow on the back bowl to the point where you couldn't really see anything.
I couldn't see
that wasn't very fun. Yeah,
it was miserable, and traversing it was so hard because it was powder, which is great. But it was also just like really rough terrain where, for whatever reason, there were a lot of like snow drifts just kind of forming and it turned into like almost moguls the whole way down.
Yeah, I mean, moguls ruin snowboarding.
It's a great way to keep snowboarders off your mountain.
Yeah.
I'm in for the tubing.
Okay, for sure.
Tubing sounds. Oh man,
Would you think so much
little old man.
Tubing is living. It's fun.
The battle
not that much fun.
All he did was tube, right?
That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we went down.
I tubed, and then when you guys went to like snowboard and ski, I went to the bar.
Yeah,
went to the bar.
Turtle, you know what you would love? We went snowboarding in Hokkaido one year in Japan, and
Japan.
it was so sick. But they had ice luge sledding, like
that would be fun.
Ice luge slides. So basically, like you just
get on it and go.
You go down, and then when you get to the end, there's igloos where they serve you hot chocolate.
See, now that's perfect.
That actually
that's right up my alley.
I've heard that
I just don't want to sneak. I don't want to like Sonny Bono it, and go right.
you're
into the
not
tree.
going to Sonny Bono anything.
I mean,
you might
maybe.
get hurt, but not that way.
Yeah, you see me on rollerblades, right?
He was young then too, man. He was young. It was a wobbly. I've heard snowboarding in Japan is like the best of the best.
It's insane. They say it doesn't ever stop snowing.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for like 4 days and it didn't stop snowing all day, all night. We had, the place we were staying in had just like glass corridors everywhere. So
that's awesome.
Anytime you walked anywhere, you just look outside and be like, oh, it's still snowing. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I want to do more winter trips for sure.
Yeah.
I just need more snowboarding friends. Come on.
If you get an Epic
we gotta
Pass,
start recruiting. Here's the thing. I just canceled mine because for the last 2 seasons I went 0 times.
I hear you.
It's
Michelle
so
loves
brutal.
to ski, so like,
But I'll get
us
one.
there.
Okay.
But if you have an Epic Pass, there's a couple mountains that you can just go to.
Right.
In Japan. It's pretty wild.
I think there's 3. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a couple in, I think, New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I think there's
man.
one in Sweden as well, or
That's
maybe
the Epic
Switzerland.
part of the Epic Pass.
Yeah, Epic is worldwide. I think Icon is now too.
Yeah, I think so. I just didn't look at their stops.
Same.
Akuba.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That might be where we went.
Very, very, very rarely do I regret not having.
Yeah.
Harvey and Saki can come.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very rarely do I regret not having a girlfriend, but when I can't find anybody to go snowboarding with, that's when I'm like, you got to start recruiting.
That's what you got to put in the profile. Need someone to go snowboarding.
Snowboarding, buddy.
Girlfriend's not allowed to say no to you for snowboarding.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like you make enough sacrifices. It's like, all right, look, you're going to have to come to this mountain.
Yep.
You got to hang out on the mountain. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to hate it.
Right. And then I'm going to get to the point where it's like they're really bad and I'm going to be like, God, I wish I was single.
Yeah, Ashley has decided that she doesn't like snowboarding or skiing, but she does like wearing thick socks and reading books by the fire.
There you go, right.
So she's like, yeah, I'll just hang out there. And
Truthfully, that's half the equation.
Yeah.
That's the best.
If you can at least just get them physically on location, like everything thereafter is pretty easy.
ski resorts are awesome.
They are, yeah.
See, I like grew up on the East Coast, as you guys did, and like all the ski resorts out there are like at the base of the mountain. There is a ski rental place and a really shitty cafeteria,
Right?
And that's it. And then you go to a place like Vail, and there's a whole Winterland town going on.
Yeah, it's an entire ecosystem that's
Yeah.
like happening on the mountain all at once. I had no idea East Coast skiing was so shitty until
the
I moved
worst.
west.
Yeah, same. I just thought that's how you skied. And I was like, it's great.
Well, I didn't
you
even
just go
learn
and
until I
skate.
moved out here, but like in my mind, like
Oh, it was
Vermont
comparable.
was
Yeah.
like the place to be, and
Well, Stowe, there's a bunch of places in Vermont that are good, but like Stowe is awesome. I used to love to go to Stowe, but
Yeah.
it's just a different level out here, It's just
I mean,
not
those Rocky Mountains are fucking rocky.
Yeah.
You know,
They got
The
a
Rocky
few
Mountains
rocks
would be a
up in
little bit
there.
rockier than this.
John Denver's full of shit. You know what I'm saying? King. Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Yeah. All right. This podcast is off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us, E-Fro, and
Absolutely.
giving us some honest feedback on our ability to pick. Jesse, as always, appreciate you stopping in. We're going to have you in full costume next week.
All
I think
right.
Halloween is either Wednesday or Thursday. Let me double check.
I'm going to go as Landon.
Somebody does every year.
Yeah, I'm going to have to wear stilts.
Yeah,
But
something very. It's like Doink and Dink in WWE. Doink the clown, who's like very tall, and Dink was like this little person.
So which one am I?
You're Landon and Landon.
Landink.
Yeah, Landink. All right, so next Thursday, I guess, is Halloween. We'll be fully dressed and ready to impress. That's gonna do it for us. We'll be back Monday at noon Pacific. Don't forget that there are, as we mentioned, milestone satellites to try out for the big game during the NAPT tour. It is October 30th, 31st, and November 4th, I believe. Head over to Resorts World or Card Player. You will be able to find the times that those satellites are popping off. I think they are in the early afternoon on the 30th and 31st, and then later in the evening on the 4th, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see you guys all next week.
Later, squad.
Peace.